Yes. In the beginning, I didn't know anything about Baba. But I didn't know anything about Baba. My name is Shatrughan Kumar, and I live in Meher Mafi. Previously, its name was Madri Mafi. Now its name is Meher Mafi since Baba came here. So, in the beginning, I didn't know anything about Baba, and I was in prison. So one day I thought, because I lived there for a long time, I thought I must anyhow get released. So I wanted to request God for my release. And anyhow, in the night I requested God, and I thought, I was thinking, if I am released, so how it will be a proof, I must get a proof that Baba is. Uh, so I want. So I wanted to have the proof that that God had released me. So I was thinking, if I am released, as I was just requesting God, as soon as the gate of the jail opens of my barrack, I must get released instantaneously. I must get the order. And if I, from prison, I was in prison, yes, as a political worker. So. And if I thought, if I am not released just after that, and that time, or I am released after some hours in the evening or in daytime, that I will think it was all by chance. It was not the answer of of my request. So it so happened the whole night I have been just requesting, and in the morning, as soon as the gate of my barrack opened, a convict warder came along with a. Yes, as soon as the gate of the barrack opened, a convict warder came along with a slip, and it was written on that, Mr. Kumar, get yourself ready with your bag and baggage. And actually, it was a surprising thing for me. Anyhow, I was taken along with my all luggage. I was taken in the office, and surprisingly, it was not full day. It was still dark, and there was light in the office, and superintendent of the jail was there, and he just made me write on his register for getting my traveling allowance and so many things. And still it was dark and light was on, and I was taken to main gate and was just uh, got out. And there I had to stay about 3 or 4 hours more, because the office generally they are opened at 11 or 10, and it was hardly 6 before 6. So I had to stay there. And later on, when the officers came and some taser came, and they took my traveling allowance and took me to railway station, and in this way I was just released and came home. And after, because it was the year 1940, 45, and after 5 years, then next proof I got from Baba himself, and after 5 years, in 1950, Baba came here, and that was also interesting story. Some people came to my house, and they just asked me for some land. Some people wanted to purchase here and wanted to in this village, and anyhow the sale deed was done in a hurry, because Baba, they received the order from Baba. They wanted to purchase it within 24 hours, and anyhow the thing was done. And later on, when Baba came here in 1950, so after when I came in contact with Baba, actually I appreciated, I liked the thing, and I never saw such a beautiful, such a handsome man as Baba was, and I was impressed. First I met him at railway station. Mr. Narawala and others, they asked me to see him there in 1950. And when I went there in the waiting room, so Baba was simply standing before the round table. And uh, when I saw him, I never saw in my life such a beautiful man, such a handsome man. I was impressed, and instantly then Baba asked for some food. So food was not there ready, And I asked Baba, may I bring it for you? Then Baba said, can you bring it within 1 hour? I calculated, I had a motorbike. So I said, yes, I will be able to bring it within 1 hour. And that time Baba was standing, his fingers were on the round table of the waiting room in railway station. And after on the table, and his Mandali people, they were 5 or 6 I think, they were just surrounding him, they were there standing. And then when I said I would bring the food, I came back to village and I took food within 1 hour. And as soon as I entered the room, I saw the Baba standing in the same position, and everybody was doing the same work. Mr. Erich he was sitting, squatting on the ground, and I thought, it was my impression, as if I left the room only for few seconds. Though I took 1 full hour, as it was my impression that I came here only, I was absent only for a few seconds. Anyhow, the food was there, and Baba started distributing it himself. Some plates were taken out from a wooden box, and they were distributed to everybody. And the thing is, I took the food. It was, I thought it must be sufficient for 4 or 5 people at the most, 6 people. But there are so many people were there. Some people from the city who went there to see Baba, to welcome him. And his Mandali people were there. Some ladies were there. They were about more than 14, 15. And when Baba was distributing, I was afraid this food must not be sufficient. But anyhow, when it was all distributed by Baba, and I was all the time I was worrying. And later on, when the pot was taken to other room, in ladies' compartment, ladies' waiting room. So I was actually, it was surprising. All the pot, it was all full. Only a small portion was empty. Otherwise, it was all full. That was my first impression when I saw Baba. Later, when Baba came here, and I was with him, I one day, in a way, I told him, Baba, I am going to surrender my life, my everything to you. And he was so happy. And since then Baba said, I will be calling you there in Satara or wherever he was later on after leaving the place. And in this way I was connected with Baba. And one day when I was going along with him in a car for must tour, because generally Baba was busy in his must work. So one day I was along with him, and he asked me, how were you released from your prison? Then I said, Baba, I requested God. I did not know how to request, but anyhow I requested, and I wanted to do the proof that I must be released in such time. Then anyhow I requested, and then he said, what did you do? I said, I requested and nothing more. Then I said, no, I promised also. Then Baba said, what did you promise? Then I said, any binding whatsoever is imposed on me after going jail, I will obey it. Then Baba spread his hand and put my hand on his hand, and then he said, repeat this thing, repeat this promise. I repeated it according to his saying 2 or 3 times, and then Baba said, don't break this promise, I am God. And actually that was the moment when I was convinced more. Then that was the moment I was convinced that he is the God who made me released in 1945. It means 7 or 8 years. The gap was 7 or 8 years. I was released in 1940, and Baba convinced me that he was the God who just got me released from prison after nearly 7 or 8 years, in 1953, I think. So in this way, whenever I was Baba, so many things, instructions and other things I have been hearing from Baba. Especially in those days I was very hot-headed. I was very angry in short things. So that was the first thing. Baba asked me to leave the anger, not to remain angry, not to be more angry. In this way, and perhaps it is the grace of Baba, since then I am losing my anger and I am no more angry so much. Sometimes I just do anger even now, but there is difference now. And living with Baba, so many things happened. One instance I will tell you. One day I was going along with Baba to Rishikesh, and there is a temple of Ram's. There Ram had three more brothers: Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughan. They were four brothers, and there is a temple of youngest brother of Ram. His name is Shatrughan, as my name is. That's why I got that name, because I was born in that temple. So I quite possible I must have told someday to Baba that I was born in a temple. But anyhow, when I was going that way, then from very far, Baba just poked his nose in my ribs and told me, where you are born under that tree. There is a tree. Actually, I was born under that tree. And because, just like a fool, I asked Baba, how could you know it? Though he is all-knowing, almighty, everything is God. But I asked Baba, how could you know? I was born under that tree. So in this way, so many things have been happening along with Baba while living. So simply he laughed and he did not tell me how he knew. But in my own way, I asked him, how did you know it? So in this way, so many things have been happening. And in this village, when I was living here, I didn't know when he was coming. He was my neighbor in the other house. So all of a sudden, sometimes he used to come and he used to take his coffee, or he used to sit down here. So I was so very lucky in those days. I didn't know that I was just enjoying my life with God. But later on, while living with him, so many things have been happening that generally, first and foremost thing is that he gave me the conviction that he is God. Otherwise, I did not have anything. He just made my heart convinced that he is God, nothing more. So in this way, things have been happening. Jai Baba. Yes. I was in prison, and one night, because I was actually tired of living in jail, and I was in prison for my political activities, and by that time I didn't know anything about Baba. Uh,
What
yes,
year was that?
it was 1945.
And then,
And
Baba?
yes, and then when I requested God, I didn't know Baba, but I requested God with full proof that this is the result of my request, that that God is releasing me. I didn't know anything, but when I was released, and later on when I came in contact with Baba, then Baba convinced me that he was the God. He heard my request and got me released. That was after about 7 or 8 years. Uh,
6 or 7.
in 1953, he just convinced me that he was the God who released me.
45 and 53.
And I was released in 1945, and I met Baba in 1950. And in 1953, when I was going along with Baba for the must tour, then in the car he asked me, how were you released? Then I said, I requested God, and then I was released. Then he said, did you promise anything? Then I said, yes, Baba, I promise that if God releases me, then any binding whatsoever is imposed on me after jail, after being released, then I will obey it. And I've been obeying Baba for the time also. And one thing more also happened in this way, in this connection, I tell you. It so happened, I was Baba one day. Baba called me. I got a telegram. Baba wanted me in Satara for 7 days only, and I went there. So Baba did not release me after 7 days, but he kept me there for 7 months, and I was not allowed to leave the premises of the house. It was Rosewood Bungalow. I was not allowed to leave the premises. I was only asked to remain in the premises there, and so I was not allowed to write any letter to my wife at my place. I was not allowed to receive any letter. Vishnu Master used to receive my letters. So in the beginning, I did not know the implications of all these things. But later on, I was convinced that these were the jail bindings. Perhaps my time of jail was due, and so I've been just undergoing all those things as it was in the jail. So Baba, in place of keeping me there for 7 days, he kept me for 7 months in that premises. And I was there along with the Mandali. Everybody was allowed to go out, but I was not allowed to leave the premises. And the same, I had only one shirt, though, and I used to wash it and wear it. And when I came from there, Then my wife actually she laughed. My torn cloth, my torn shirt and torn pant, it was along with me. Still I've got that photograph with me of that time. So in this way,
It's like a prisoner in your body.
yes. So, so in this way I believe in.
Yeah, cut it. Just the spiritual side of things.
Baba said, because you know I've been reading, of course, about spiritual things.
You had said that Baba had given you certain spiritual instructions.
Well, it so happened. When I was actually very fond of reading some spiritual books also, but Baba said, I'm God, believe I'm God. And always try to catch hold of my Daman. Even if I'm not God, and you believe me that I'm God, you are relieved. All the responsibility lies on my shoulders, not yours. You are relieved. Go on holding fast my Daman and go on believing me that I'm God. And the rest lies on me. I'll make you believe myself. And actually it happened. Now I believe wholly and solely that Baba is God. That is that.
Did Baba give you any duties to perform when you were with him?
So many things. Especially not to be angry, and for lustful things, and to remain honest in daily life. In this way, there were so many things. Not especially Baba told me do this, do that, but his ways were so very simple that in a very simple way he has been asking me to be honest, to be as I told you, not to be dishonest towards my wife or anything. In this way, these were these simple instructions.
When you were living with Baba, did he
Yes.
give you duties to perform then?
Oh, in the beginning I was given duties as night watchman also. I was there in the night at the door. And later on, it so happened, generally Baba always wanted me to play with him. And so many people, all the Mandali people, they were some grumbling also that this man, he doesn't do anything, always playing Baba. Baba used to laugh, "Hey, let him play with me." So in this way, I was practically relieved from all the duties, and whenever I was in Satara or in Mehrajad, I was always playing with Baba, and he made me his playing companion. And sometimes he asked me to tell the stories, all sorts of stories I used to tell him for humoring things. And in this way, generally I was relieved from all the duties.
What kind of games did you play with Baba?
Laris generally. Generally Laris in cars. Generally Laris. And then after losing, rubbing the nose on the ground, and his ways of playing were different. You know, generally, sometimes so many people were there while playing Laris, and I was always just at the side of Baba, just near him. So automatically I was against him, you know. Because one for, the other against, one for, against, and in this way people were there. And I was so near him that I was against him. So in this way, whenever I used to lose the game, I was in the party of losers, I used to rub my nose. And sometimes Baba's party used to lose the thing. Then I had to, because generally I was against Baba. So whenever my party used to lose, then I had to rub my nose. All the losers used to rub. And when Baba's party used to lose the game, so I had to rub for Baba, my nose on the ground. So both the times, whether I was winning or losing, every time I had to rub my nose on the ground.
Would you repeat that?
What? For rubbing the nose?
No.
Well, yes.
Stop.
One day I had some plaster of Paris with me. So I was thinking whether Baba will just give consent to my request or not. Then just I mixed the mixture of plaster of Paris and requested Baba to put a foot on it so that I may get the impression of his foot. So Baba, yes, all right. Then I put the thing and Baba put his foot on it, And I got the impression, then Baba said, what about the other food? Because I had only one food. So the spare remaining things, remaining of plaster Paris, then I put. So it was so very little that I got other impression, little, small impression, not so deep as the previous one. But as Baba used to say, one thing he used to say, if anything is given, I give in my own way. So it is just like milk. And if anybody is asked from me, it is just like water. And if anything is taken from me forcibly, it is just like blood. So I take those both the impressions. One was just like water, and the other was just like milk. Because one impression I asked for it, and the other impression he gave himself. so so it is my, according to as Baba told. So I am convinced that one is water and the other is milk. Because, yes.
You know, tell us about the story about the draft.
Draft. Yes, sometimes Baba used to ask me to play with Nariman or anybody my draft. So he used to divert my attention towards some other place. And when I used to see their side, then simply, very cunningly, he used to steal one or two pieces from the board of my pieces. Then and then when I used to see, then he used to say, "Now play on." And this in this way, though it was handicapped, but I don't know what happens. Generally, even then I used to win. So he used to laugh. So in this way, things happen.
Baba let you win plenty?
I don't know. Yes, I was a very good dart player, and generally I used to win. Seldom I used to lose. Otherwise, always I used to win, in spite of the short pieces.
You were having many games with Baba, and one of them
Yes,
was
well,
marbles.
marbles. Oh, he was a wonderful player, and one day I saw him hitting all the 7 marbles at a time, one after the other.
You were telling us that you liked to play games with Baba, and Baba was always making you play games.
Yes.
Now, you were playing marbles, so tell us about that.
Yes, marbles, as I told you, yes, he was a very good player, he was a wonderful player, and one day he hit all the 7 marbles at a time without missing. He did not miss, and he hit all them. He was a wonderful player, of course, and none was like him. He was supreme.
And he used to play a lot with you?
Yes, I was a very poor player in marbles. Of course, I used to play dart very good, but I was not a good player in marbles. And here we have been playing badminton, cricket, gulli janda, and so many things we have been playing here in these lands. These were Baba lands.
Over here?
Yes.
Out here.
Yes.
How long have you been living here now?
Oh, now I came in this village in 1940, just after after my release from jail, after 1945. In 1946 or so, I came here.